center stage. Roll out the red carpet. Zion Williamson to be that number one pick. If you're looking to bet on it, and it's a sure thing, we know it is, well, minus 10,000. Not exactly a value pick on that end. If we're taking a look at the second overall pick, Teddy, looks like that's probably going to be John Morant. Third overall pick, R.J. Barrett. But after that, it does get a little bit interesting with the fourth pick and later. It's always fun to talk a little bit of basketball here. We know Zion's going to be number one. Some teams think they're getting superstars. Others, we'll see a couple years down the line. But the NBA draft tonight, center stage.
Sure. And I mean, from a betting standpoint, there's a ton of props for the NBA draft. I don't tend to get involved a lot because I don't waste my time trying to figure out who's going to draft who. That being said, people do that. And if you got down on any of the top three early, Zion at number one, John Morant at number two, R.J. Barrett at number three, they all look locked in. So if you're able to bet those guys early, hopefully you're in really good position for tonight, although things can and do change. But the interesting stuff really starts at number 4. Darius Garland has been talked about. Jarrett Culver has been talked about. DeAndre Hunter has been talked about as possibilities. And, of course, that's New Orleans in the number 4 spot, a team that's talked very much about trading out of it and getting more. Atlanta's interested in the pick, Minnesota, Boston, Chicago. So I would expect that we'll see some interest and intrigue starting right around the 4th pick of the draft. Now, the other key point tonight that is worth making, a lot of teams need guards, particularly point guards. The Suns, the Bulls, the Wolves, all teams that are really hungry for point guard play. There's not that many point guards at the top of the board. Morant and Garland are going to go. Kobe White is the other guy that's really in the top 25. And after that, it's reach time. So it'll be interesting to see what the teams do that need point guards tonight. We may see a lot of competition to move up for that number 4 pick. And, of course, a couple of teams with multiple first-rounders, the Hawks with 3 first-rounders, the Celtics with 3 first-rounders. No surprise if those teams are active in the trading market as well in the NBA draft this evening.
And also, it's going to be interesting, Teddy, that second round, there's going to be some fireworks going off because, as you know, the first round of the NBA, those contracts are guaranteed. In the second round, teams like the Los Angeles Lakers, they're going to be making some moves to sort of fill out that roster with cheap talent with non-guaranteed contracts. You're going to see a lot of teams buying second rounders tonight. So should be a fulfilling night. Obviously, Zion's going to be front and center tonight, and rightfully should be. But after that, we should have a little bit of fun to talk about. Teddy, we got to get to something in Major League Baseball last night. The definition of an ace should have Max Scherzer's picture in it, not because he has 2 different color eyes, but actually technically now 3 different color eyes, Teddy, as you add a black eye last night and a broken nose and still dominant. Sometimes I think back and look, Teddy, at the Detroit Tigers lineup, no Verlander there, no Scherzer there, what it could have been for that team, because as we always say, hey, team's on the downswing, can't afford this guy, let's move on. Imagine those 2 frontline pitchers in your starting lineup. Scherzer was absolutely outstanding and made that Philadelphia Phillies lineup look feeble last night. Couple shots there, guys on second base, Scherzer striking at the side. An unbelievable performance. And I didn't even doubt it, Teddy, when he broke his nose and said he was pitching. He just write it in. He's going to dominate tonight, and he did. Amazing effort.
Sure, 117 pitches for Scherzer last night on a humid night. Struck out 10, only 4 hits. Only 2 runners got in scoring position all night. His quote, "Trust me, this thing looks a lot worse than it actually is. I felt 0 pain. There's been plenty of other injuries where I felt a lot of pain and I've had to pitch through. I'll hang my hat on those starts. But tonight, I felt 0 pain. That's part of what you have to do. You take the ball every 5th time. That's my responsibility to the team to make sure I always post. And I knew I could post tonight." And more Scherzer, quote, "Going out there and throwing, the only thing I had to deal with was the swelling underneath the eye. It was kind of jiggling around. And so in warm-ups, I just had to get used to knowing what it was feeling like to throw the ball and just have that swelling." Yeah, that was an ace-level showing. We'll give Max Scherzer a whole lot of credit for his performance last night. Not an easy thing to do.
One of the better free agent signings you're ever going to see, Max Scherzer going to the Nationals. And it was interesting, Teddy, you brought up that point there in his quote. They actually slowed it down and showing when he was taking his warm-up pitches in the first inning, the eye was actually jiggling around underneath, and he just said, you know what, a couple pitches, I'm good, I can handle this, and went out and dominated. An amazing performance there, almost like a throwback-type player. How about this one, Teddy? How about this series? The Reds sweep the Astros. Yes, you got that correctly there. So a lot of people, Teddy, on these social media outlets Ain't no way those Stros are getting swept. Well, they actually did get swept, and it needed a comeback in the ninth inning as they scored 2 runs. Maley went 7 innings, only giving up 2 earned runs to sort of wait out Garrett Cole was his dominant normal self. The Reds take that plus 170 ticket down and moving on and getting their 5th straight win tonight in Milwaukee. Hey, Reds, congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've been saying all year, this is a Cincinnati Reds team that has legitimate breakout potential. And by breakout potential, I don't mean the Reds are going to win the World Series. I mean, the Reds have the potential to be in the wild card chase in the second half of the season, which is something they haven't done for the better part of the last half decade. The pitching's been there. As long as the bats can come through, and they did last night, obviously in the latter stages, this Reds team has bet on potential. We'll break down their trip to Milwaukee later in the show.